You shouldn't be exposing your lungs.
I wore my Irish sweater because I'm freezing.
I don't want your lungs getting damaged.
Oh, I didn't go out yesterday because it did affect me.
Yesterday was a lot worse.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. It's terrible.
Yesterday, the sky looked like we lived on Mars. It was all red.
Is it that could happen? If it's a fire, you're right about the fire.
It smelled like a giant campfire.
I know Gallantown left their windows open. Regrets it because the house smells like a chimney now.
What did you say?
Gallantown left their windows open because it's been nice at night and didn't realize the smoke would be that bad. Now our house smells like a chimney.
And that gets into all your clothing and furniture and everything else.
It was amazing
Next
that
time
that could
they're out.
happen.
Anastasia?
Hello.
Who's Anastasia?
Don't be bashful.
All right.
Hello.
We're waiting for you. Nice to see. You got lost?
Yeah, the studies were looking.
I'll tell you, good thing you're a scout. You're able to figure it out.
Get your compass out and find your way here.
Anyway, there's a lot of seats.
And who's the young man here? Didn't I see you this morning, sir?
This morning for breakfast.
I remember you, your face. Who do you,
Wearing the same clothes.
and who do you belong to, sir?
Me?
This young man or this young lady?
We're all together.
We're all
Oh, you all together? All right. So you're a scout, you getting the, you here for the democracy thing, whatever one it is, to observe?
The assistant of the communications badge.
Yeah, okay, great, fantastic.
Cool.
Oh, this is special, this is great.
Yeah, great.
Anastasia, you got your speech ready and everything, right?
Mhm.
It was nice this morning.
Yeah, it was nice.
Close.
So, Rob, did you get a hearing for the Senate Judiciary Committee? No, not yet.
Nancy, you're ready, right?
Yes, we are ready.
Okay, I'd like to call the 7 PM work session meeting to order. Nancy, can I have a roll call, please?
Sure. Mr. Boonstra?
Here.
Mr. Fisher?
Here.
Mr. Melchione is absent. Mr. Shanley?
Here.
And Mayor Madigan.
Here.
This regular work session meeting of the Wykoff Township Committee is now in session. In accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act, notice of this meeting appears on our annual schedule of meetings. A copy of said annual schedule has been posted on the bulletin board in Memorial Town Hall. A copy has been filed with the municipal clerk and has been posted on our municipal website. The copy has been emailed to the Record, the Ridgewood News, and the North Jersey Herald News, all newspapers having a general circulation throughout the Township of Wykoff. At least 48 hours prior to this meeting, the agenda thereof was similarly posted, filed, and emailed to said newspapers.
Okay, do we have all the finance committee, as they signed all the vouchers?
Yes,
documents?
Mr. Mayor.
Okay. Next, could I have a motion to open for a 10-minute public comment period? 10-minute public comment, 2 minutes per speaker for public comments on any governmental issue that a member of the public feels may be of concern to the residents of the Township of Wykoff.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Boonstra?
Yes.
Mr. Fisher?
Yes.
Mr. Melchione? Mr. Shanley?
Yes.
And Mayor Madigan.
Yes. Okay, anybody from the public that wish to come forward, please state your name, address.
Janet Toomey, 501A,
Rob, can you help Miss Toomey with the
Bromley.
mics at your places?
Aspen Lane.
Aspen
Oh,
Lane.
Aspen. Oh, you're on Aspen. Okay.
Okay, is there anybody else?
Okay.
Thank you, Rob.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Last week I said that I didn't have quite the last page, but I did. I was in such a rush, I went, right by it. And so I asked our wonderful
Nancy Brown to give a copy of what I had to both Matt and to Bob, and I'm sure she has or will.
I will.
Yeah, thank you very much.
At the end of the meeting, I'll take
Yeah,
a copy
thank
of
you.
yours.
And meanwhile, I'd like to thank you because, Matt, thank you for helping with the hole. I understand it's half a hole your side and half a hole our side, which I didn't know about. So thank you for that. Later, I'll ask you to
Which half
tell
is
me
which?
the next time,
So I'll
which,
have to tell you real quick,
Oh.
it was the broken sprinkler line from Spring Meadows sprinkler system.
oh,
And that was broken underground and eroded and caused a sinkhole.
Oh, okay.
oh. Well, thank you for telling us. And did they repair that?
Your management company was on scene with our DPW, so I believe
Isn't that
they were
great?
able to at least shut it off, and I believe the hole's been at least temporarily patched.
Right.
Looks
Yeah.
like it's been fixed.
Well, it looked pretty good, but I went down just before I came here. And that's the great cooperation I feel we have and will always have. And, you'll
Don't
excuse us.
forget it, make sure you tell everybody
I think
over
it's
there.
Canada is against me too.
Janet, make sure you tell all your residents
Yeah, I
how
will.
cooperative we were, Johnny on the spot.
Not
Absolutely.
to worry. I always tell them how I feel, and I feel that way.
Nice.
I feel very comfortable with whatever you do. Not all 100%, but 99.9%, so that's good. And the other thing is thank you very much for paying attention to the burn, because quite a bit of that has been chopped down. Quite a bit of the weeds and things like that have been chopped down. Whether you know about that or not, they're on it. And the side cul-de-sac looks beautiful. It's immaculate and just was beautiful. So we're very happy about that. So thanks for that. And we appreciate it. And as it says here, if you, I'll read this last part. And any landscaping planted on township property will be maintained by Wyckoff Township, and any on our property we'll maintain. So, and we're not out for any reason but to be cooperative. And I know
That's great.
you are too. So that's
Absolutely.
good. And thank you very much.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Janet.
Thank you.
Anybody else wish to address the governing body? Seeing none, could we have a motion to close to the public?
Motion to close. Second.
Mr. Boonstra?
Yes.
Mr. Fisher?
Yes.
Mr. Shanley?
Yes.
And Mayor Madigan?
Yes.
With an affirmative vote, the motion is approved.
Okay, so next on the agenda, we have a special recognition to Girl Scout Anastasia Millman, and we have a letter from the governing body. And I think I'll come down, I'm gonna invite you up, and I'll come down and meet you down there and read you the letter. What do you think? All right? So I'm gonna back this up a little bit. We're gonna have you face that way. Gonna move this way. The governing body, pardon our backs. All right, this is Anastasia. So, Anastasia just completed her gold award, and we're happy to recognize you here and give you a brief letter of congratulations, okay? Dear Anastasia, it was a great pleasure the Wyckoff Township Committee extends sincere congratulations as you attain your Girl Scout of America Gold Award. Scouting has always been a very worthwhile venture, preparing you in a positive way for many things you will encounter during your lifetime. We commend you for the considerable time and effort you devoted to research cardiovascular health and develop a program to share this information with our community. You should be proud of your collaboration with Dr. Joseph Machak and with the Wyckoff Ambulance Corps that culminated in providing a presentation on heart health to Wyckoff, which you just recently did. This is very, very, very nice. You will be commended for the character, leadership, and responsibility which you have demonstrated through the planning, implementation, and your ongoing commitment to this project as well as throughout your scouting career. This project, along with the many other scouting and academic accomplishment distinguishes you as being an intelligent, responsible citizen of high standards of whom all can be proud. We are very proud of your commitment to volunteerism in the community, and we extend to you our best wishes for future success and accomplishment. Very truly yours, the Wyckoff Township Committee. Okay, now you can applaud her. Let's give a big applause. Anastasia. All right. Very well done. We're going to take a couple of pictures, all right, which we're very good at. We'll take some for your folks. I'm going to ask the governing body to come on down. And make your sash. Got it?
Congratulations.
Okay. You lined up? Everybody look good? I put my glasses back on, take them off to read. Watch the pictures, I keep them on. Okay, Nancy, you wanna say a couple of words? You can say how much you enjoyed your project, how great it was for the community, where you go to school, what you're looking to do next year. Go ahead.
I'm a junior at Ramapo High School, and I'm looking to go into the medical field in college, majoring in biology, before I further my career. And when I started my Girl Scout Go to War project, I knew that I wanted to do it on women's health. But I really, in my research, found that cardiovascular health was very important, but often not known about as much as other aspects. So I just really wanted to make the focus of my project to educate my community on the importance of cardiovascular health for everyone, but specifically with women. And I'm really proud of my presentation, and I worked with a retired cardiologist, Dr. Joseph Mackick, and the Wyckoff Ambulance Corps, and I feel like it was very educational, and I'm very proud of that. And I also created a book display that was up through the month of May about heart health at the Wyckoff Library, and I plan to continue my project working with the American Heart Association doing a social media campaign.
Well done. Good job. Yeah, the parents want to come up and get a picture?
Take a photo with your family. Sure. And if it's okay with you, we'll post it on our social media.
You're in.
Okay, it's parents, either side. Yeah. All right. You okay there?
Thank you.
Nice to meet you. Congratulations. Good job.
Two away.
Excellent. Yeah, keep working for your eagle.
Two away. Life and Eagle.
Oh, excellent.
That's-
Great.
That's great.
Definitely need help, for volunteers.
That is really great. There is a need. There is really a need.
Okay, next on our agenda is a public hearing to obtain the comments of citizens, public agencies, and other interested parties regarding an application submission to Bergen County Open Space Trust Fund Program Park Development Grant 2023 to possibly fund Memorial Field Complex improvements located at 340 Franklin Ave. So can I have a motion to open the public hearing, please?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Boonstra?
Yes?
Mr. Fisher?
Yes.
Mr. Shanley?
Yes.
And Mayor Madigan.
Yes,
With an affirmative vote, the motion is approved.
okay. So, how does this
So
work?
just a brief, an
Guide us here,
overview
please.
while we have it. So this is $75,000 we're applying to the Bergen County Open Space Trust Fund for the construction of an ADA compliant recreational trail through Memorial Field to connect the turf field and Franklin Avenue. It's to finish the project
Finishing,
and
great.
also go around the backside of
To Demerara.
from the snack stand to the tennis courts over to Demarest.
Right.
Great.
So this is a matching grant, we're applying for $75,000. Just for the record, it's been, that this public hearing was properly noticed in the May 22nd edition of the Ridgewood News in both the legal notice section and as a display ad. So the requirement is that we have to have a public hearing, which we're doing now, and after that, we have to pass a resolution, which is on the agenda for 8 o'clock.
Okay, so, public hearing, hearing nobody else, can we have a motion to close the
Move to
public hearing?
close.
Second.
Mr. Boonstra?
Yes.
Mr. Fisher?
Yes.
Mr. Shanley?
Yes.
And Mayor Madigan.
Yes.
With an affirmative vote, the motion is approved.
Okay, Matt, since you had the microphone, can you give us a review of the
Yep.
business meeting, 8 PM, please?
Sure. So, we have a good number of resolutions. First, we're gonna start off, every 3 years, we have to re-up our inclusion in the Bergen County Community Development Block Grant Program. We have not applied for Bergen County, Community Development Block Grant Program, mostly due to, our,
Socioeconomic.
our socioeconomic status. We don't meet the criteria for most of the grants, but we do want to re-up our participation in case some of the status changes, as they usually change each year a little bit, so that we could participate for the next 3 years. Addition to that, we also have a agreement that needs to be revised for the next 3 years as well. We have to do a Chapter 159 for our Clean Communities grant that came in this year. That's the addition of items to our municipal budget. Appointing the community development representatives. Approval of a grant submission to the New Jersey Department of Transportation. This is for their 2023 municipal aid program for Lawlands Road we're submitting for. That's for the resurfacing of Lawlands Road. We have 6 liquor license renewals on for approval. Along with a resolution in support of Senate Bill 3906 for tax relief for municipalities, and also in support of the return of the energy tax credits for municipalities, which have been stripped from us. We're going on about 15 years now, and we've been waiting for this money to be returned to us. 209, recognizing June as Pride Month, and 210, adopting a affordability assistance and procedures manual, and then finally 211, which is the authorize the submission of the matching grant application to Bergen County Open Space. There are 2 motions, both for St. Nicholas Orthodox Church, and then we have 2 ordinances for public hearing and further consideration, 1 being the salary ordinance, and 2 being our UCC fees increased in certain areas. That's all I have for the 8 o'clock meeting, and then I have a couple updates. First, I'd like to thank all those who were involved in the remembrance events from Memorial Day here in Wyckoff. It was a great day. On the topic of Memorial Day, our military tribute program, coordinated by Pete Melchione and Denise Caparelli here in Town Hall, was a huge success again. There are approximately 180 banners that were hung this year, including those include orders that were placed going back to 2021. We are running into a bit of a problem with this, though, that we are out of poles. So we'll have to start looking at that, what we're gonna do for next year. Our 5G consultant has begun to review our current codes with, and what changes will be recommended to protect the township's interest with regard to 5G. He's also provided me with a list of potential locations that we can zone to consider allowing 5G equipment throughout the town. This has been circulated internally to the township engineer and to the building official, and we'll bring that to the zoning subcommittee for review. And we'll be meeting in person with him the week of 5/19. And all this is being done to ensure that we are up to date with the zoning requirements for 5G in case a carrier does come in looking to install, because if we don't have something in place, the carrier can install anywhere. We will be having our kickoff introductory meeting with our grant writing firm, Bruno Associates, next week. But with regard to grants, Wyckoff has received a grant funding in the amount of $2,000 from Sustainable Jersey and the PSD&G Foundation to improve signage at Russell Farms Community Park, specifically geared towards educating about the monarch butterfly station, the sensory garden, and the importance of local pollinators and native species, plants, and trees that are in the park. DPW has installed a few new benches at Russell Farms Community Park, and those have been those have been purchased with donated funds and were put up in memory of others that have requested over the past couple of years. I don't think we've put any in since the beginning of COVID. The bid to complete the Flexi Pave walkway at Russell Farms Community Park will be in the newspaper next Friday. I went out to bid for an additional cell carrier on the field light tower next to the recreation building. Dish Network had expressed interest on being a tenant on the existing pole. However, they have some issues being able to obtain their Public Works contractor registration certificate. So no bids came in. I'm going to hold off a little bit, and then we'll rebid this. We are currently out to bid for our 2023 road improvement program. Bids are due back next week. After review, we intend to award that contract at our next meeting, will be on Tuesday, June 20th. The auditors from PKF O'Connor Davies started reviewing and testing this week. This is our first year with the new firm. Same auditor, different firm. But from what they tell us, everything appears to be in order. I want to thank the finance office, especially Diana and Fran, and all our department heads for working so hard with them to ensure that the process would go so smoothly. The Administrative Office of the Courts has finally approved the contract for the collection agency for municipal court debt for our municipal court. And for the other two towns involved in our shared court system. I want to thank Kim McWilliams, our shared court administrator, who spearheaded this project. And I know that I think this was one of the first resolutions that was passed when I got here about 16 months ago, and that's how long it's taken to get through the AOC for approval. The new system for bulk waste collection seems to be working. I am still working with Gata to get the secure paper shredding up and running at the recycling center, but I hope that this will be done before the end of the month. A reminder to our residents that vegetative waste is only collected once per month. The next collection will be the week of June 6 and 7, depending on your collection route. Grass and leaves are not considered vegetative waste, but are collected at the recycling center when it is open. Reminder that garbage collection has switched to twice-a-week collection starting this week, and consult the municipal calendar or download the Recycle Coach app if you need clarification on your pickup schedule. The recycling center is open from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Monday through Saturday, except on Tuesdays when it is open from 11 to 3 and then again from 6 to 8. The schedule runs through August 29th. The land has been cleared behind the police department for the new pole barn. Now we're just waiting for it to arrive. The Shade Tree Commission meeting that was scheduled for this week has been moved to June 20th. PSD&G Powerline tree maintenance will start in the next few weeks. The contractor will be meeting with the police department tomorrow to arrange for traffic control. And finally, we have about 150 animal licenses that have yet to be renewed. Violation notices were mailed to those who did not relicense their pets. And unfortunately, at this point, our only option is for the animal control officers to issue summonses to the owners who have not renewed their licenses. This will begin in about 2 weeks. For all those who are outstanding. If you have a dog whose license has not been renewed, please get in touch with the clerk's office ASAP to avoid a summons being mailed to you.
I got a quick question on that. Is that atypical, 150, or do we get that every year?
It's typical.
It's typical.
But it's a lot of repeat offenders, Mr. Mayor. Summons is the only way to teach a lesson.
Okay, we want to make sure they're vaccinated.
And unfortunately, we've had at least 2 that I know of
shots.
dog bites within the last couple weeks. And you know, the main purpose of the registration is to make sure that the dogs are that they are vaccinated for rabies. So it's being done as a public safety measure.
Okay. All right, thank you. All right, we're gonna have reports, Township Committee reports. Rudy Boonstra, are you ready to give us a brief report?
I am ready, and it will be brief. I attended the Memorial Day Parade, which was a great success. The weather was perfect. I worked with the Township Committee, or marched. We held up the parade, but that's your government at work, you know, so. I was especially struck, we marched behind the Ramapo High School band, and they were just wonderful. They
they
were
were
really
fantastic.
great. The beat was good, the numbers they did were great, and I thank the band director and some of the students who were there, so really a great job, shout out to them. Our Grand Marshal was Roy Budd, and he managed to have the state troopers here with a horse or two. I think it was just one mounted trooper was here, which is always a nice touch. We had a great group of residents behind the firehouse after the parade for beer and hot dogs. I also attended the fishing derby last Saturday, thanks to the Wyco Environmental Commission under Chairman Beth Fisher and everyone who volunteered. Wyco DPW guys were there, and that was a great event. And next Wednesday, the 14th, at the Planning Board, we will have the presentation of the Planning Board and adoption of our master plan amendment. This has been several years in the working. We're addressing certain things which need to be addressed, like solar panels, roof-mounted solar panels, EV charging stations, parking requirements. We're going to relax some of the parking requirements, amending some of the lot sizes on a few areas of town, and that's just the beginning. The planning board's got quite a bit to look at there. That's all I have, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. Scott?
Sure. Thank you. I would also like to commend the Memorial Day Parade Committee, led by Eric Rubenacker this year, and all those that were part of that. A phenomenal day, beautiful weather. I thought it was one of the better turnouts we've had in a long time, both as the marchers and as the residents who were enjoying it along the parade route. We had a lot of kids, which is always good to see, and they enjoyed it. I would like to thank the Ladies Auxiliary of the Fire Department and all those members that helped cook. I heard we did a little over 1,100 hot dogs, and that's always a major accomplishment. And I think everybody enjoyed the after festivities this year. Also attended the fishing derby, which was very well attended. The lake was surrounded by youngsters trying to catch the big one. And again, great job by Beth Fisher and her entire staff of people that assist that day, along with the DPW, who is there in support, in cleanup, and help and set up. So that's about what I have.
Okay, great. Tim?
Thank you, Mayor. Zoning Board met, they approved a number of applications. They approved a roof over the front entrance on Hopper Avenue, an emergency backup generator in the side yard setback on Flaker, and they also approved the use of trailers at Eastern Christian School on Sycamac, because they're gonna have to, at some point, expand their school because they don't have enough room. So the zoning board gave them up to 2026 to utilize these trailers, but obviously they're going to have to involve our building department to make sure they're safe, our fire department to make sure they're, the fire trucks can get in there. So it's all in planning, but there's going to be trailers there up to 2026, which is not that far off if you really think about it. So that was what was done there. I also attended the Ramapo Indian Hills Board on the 22nd of May. It was interesting that the entire baseball team, the varsity team, was there because two of their coaches were suspended on a unsigned complaint, like somebody who had a complaint and didn't sign their name, and they were suspended during the playoffs. And the entire team was there. The coach's son was there. There were former players that came out and spoke in favor of their coaches. Their coaches were then reinstated a couple days later, and they played in the playoffs. Ramapo unfortunately didn't make. They didn't win the group. They didn't win the group 3 like they did last year. But they had a successful season, and that was the one thing I do have to say about the Ramapo Indian Hills board. I think all the members on that board need to understand they can't just attack each other in public like they've been doing, because it is a very tough meeting to sit through when they're doing that. And I'm not picking sides, but on both sides they're hitting each other, just to score points, which I think they should really not do that, and they should just understand they're there for the students and the taxpayers as well. But it's time that they start working together. And if they have an issue, talk to one another and try to resolve it, and don't try to resolve it by fighting at the board meetings, because I wound up walking out of there at 11:15 and it was still going on. And it was just, I couldn't take it anymore, because it's like, yeah, I just thought it was improper. So I'm hoping that they learn from that, and they understand that it's a public meeting. And they need to, there's gotta be decorum there. And I hope in the future, they just, get along and work for the students and for the taxpayers and the voters. Memorial Day Parade, that was a fantastic parade. The ceremonies before the parade were great. I loved hearing from Brigadier General Jeb. I had never met a general that, that we've never had a general like that. She was a one-star general, and she was amazing. This is the first time I got to actually meet a female general, and I thought it was amazing. She's now, I think, she's in charge of Ramapo College, so I would not have a problem with my son if he decides, he's only a freshman right now at Ramapo, going to Ramapo, because Ramapo College is actually in good hands with Brigadier General Jeb now at the helm there. She was wonderful. So the fishing derby I missed, only because my third grader was playing in the platypus tournament in Madison. And I'm looking at Rob, because Rob's a big lacrosse guy, and they won all 3 games of the platypus tournament. And so Ramapo is in good hands with young third graders when they become, I think I had to calculate, because I was looking at to sign him up for BBL or whatever that. I had to figure out what year he's going to graduate. And I'm like, oh my God, it's 2032. It's not like when my oldest is going to graduate in 2026 when he was at Washington. It's a lot closer than when I calculated it for my freshman at Ramapo now. So I missed the fishing derby because I was at the platypus tournament. But I do have to report that my niece, who's about 4.5 years old, that was her first fishing derby. And my son, who's 15, technically was his last fishing derby, because at the end, it ends at age 15. So, but they didn't win. So they caught a bunch of fish, but none that won anything at the fishing derby. But it sounds like it was a well-attended fishing derby. So the only other thing I have, I really want to congratulate Gail Kelly from Franklin Lakes. Miss Kelly she's a councilwoman there, and she had to run for re-election, and she had to run a primary because she was kicked off the line, and she won. Now, the reason I'm congratulating Gail is because the things that are going on with the Cigna property over there, where they're changing zoning, they entered into a settlement agreement with Hyckemian, that all impacts Wyckoff just as much as it's going to impact Franklin Lakes. Now, Miss Kelly was the only one. Now, there was one other woman on the council. The two of them were trying to delay it and say, we got to sit back down with this developer. There are too many unresolved issues for us to just enter into a settlement agreement and then agree to change zoning without thinking this through. Because the plan that they approved was changing the zoning for 2 massive warehouses that are literally going to be a 1/4 mile from Wyckoff. And one of the problems that was raised at those meetings is what comes with with warehouse? Tractor trailers, 18-wheelers. What they didn't figure out when they were approving this is Old Mill Road had weight restrictions on it, which meant it was going to send everything on to Wyckoff Avenue. And what does that do? Sends it into Wyckoff or Mawa. So there's all those problems. And then, their zoning change ordinance is coming up for a final vote in, I think, a week or two. People should go to the Franklin Lakes meeting if they could and express their dissatisfaction with it. Because the woman that Gail Kelly wound up, the person that Gail Kelly wound up knocking off and beating is the council president who voted in favor of that. So that's why I really want to stand up for Gail Kelly. She really stood up and really spoke her mind. and did the right thing for the residents of Franklin Lakes and did the right thing for the residents of Wykoff. And I congratulated, I wished her good luck beforehand, and I told her I have family that lives in Franklin Lakes, my mother-in-law, my father-in-law, my sister-in-law. I have 2 sister-in-laws and 2 brother-in-laws that live in there, and one
I don't want to
group-
interrupt you, but we got the point.
Yeah, so I wound up, yeah, I know.
Thank you.
I know, you're probably friendly with Dennis Bonagra, so,
No, it's good, no, we understand the point.
yeah.
We have other business we need to deal with.
Yeah, I know, I'm just
Appreciate your
finishing.
comments, though, especially how it relates to Wyckoff.
It definitely relates to Wyckoff,
Right.
so. And then, can I ask one favor of you? The bocce court from the scout who wants to do that as his Eagle Scout project, can you update the council on what the committee, on what he has suggested? Because he sent only you and me the email.
Okay, can you update us later, in the interest of time, please? I'd like to make my comments. We have a closed session plan. So in the interest of time, please update us later. Tim, anything else?
Nope.
Okay, in the interest of time, I'm gonna be as brief as I can. I received a letter from the Borough of Hawthorne. On behalf of my administration, the Borough Council, and the residents of the Borough of Hawthorne, I want to personally thank you and your department for your assistance at last Thursday's house fire at 20 Sunrise Drive. Containing the fire was a little difficult, but there was one person in the house that was removed and airlifted to St. Barnabas Hospital, Livingston. With the help and efforts of the Sheriff's Department, Ambulance Corps, and surrounding municipal agencies and fire departments, the outcome of the fire without casualty was possible, and we are very grateful. As Mayor of Hawthorne, I offer my congratulations to you and to those that assisted in that time of need. So thank you for the Mayor of Hawthorne, it's very nice. I'll share that with the Fire Commissioner, and maybe you can share it with the rest of the folks. Again, I'll be brief. The Memorial Day Parade was terrific, and special thanks to the parade committee that spent time planning it and executing the whole parade and festivities, the weather. Everyone had a great time. The fishing derby we chatted about, great event. A lot of people were there. And again, thanks to the efforts of our Environmental Commission and our Green Team members, DPW. It was very well done, and just a great time had by so many in town. The annual Fireman's Golf Outing, special kudos to Mr. Fisher and his planning and organizing another successful golf outing, and I'm glad that members of the governing body were able to go, and that we have a Thursday meeting rather than a Monday, because we don't have a Tuesday. You have to be here to figure that out, but it was a great event and great, wonderful time had by all, and special kudos to everybody of Pickatani, extremely accommodating towards us. And lastly, I just want to congratulate Scott on his election Tuesday, and Pete on his election, and Matt. And that's it on my end. Rob, do you have anything you'd like to report? Okay, can I have a motion to adopt Resolution 23C5, number 12, and enter a closed session discussion?
Motion.
Second,
Mr. Boontrop,
yes.
Mr. Fisher,
Yes.
Mr. Shanley?
Yes.
And Mayor Madigan.
Yes.
With an affirmative vote, the motion is approved.
All right, so we're gonna go into closed session. We'll be back for our 8 o'clock meeting. If you're welcome to stay, enjoy yourself. You're welcome to leave, you're welcome to go outside and come back. It's up to you, just wanna let everybody know we'll be back at 8 o'clock, where we